Thursday, Parshat Tetzaveh. I'm going to do in the Zera Shimshon Ois Bayis. Zera Shimshon is going on the first pusuk of the Parsha that says, "Ve'ata Tetzaveh b'nai Yisrael," and you should go and command Klal Yisrael, "V'yikra lecha Shem Zayachos kusus lamaor." You should take pure olive oil for lamaor, for the lights, which is meaning for the menorah. And the Zera Shimshon is now going to explain kusus lamaor. Kusus lamaor, says the Zera Shimshon, brings down Rashi, that it says that you should use the olives that go through the first press. That's going to be kosher for the menorah, lama'or. The second press of the olives are going to be puzzle for the menorah, but kosher for the menuchas. Because it says kusus lama'or. It only has to be kusus, it only has to be pure. The first press has to be only for light for the menorah. V'lo ksiv lemenuchas. It doesn't say kusus lemenuchas. It doesn't have to be for the menuchas. The menuchas is a type of a carbon that we bring with oil also. Oil and flour. At the end of the parsha, when the Torah talks about menuchas, and it says over there, "V'isurin soiles bulal b'shemen kusis." So Rashi says, what do you mean b'shemen kusis? It says that kusis over there, that first press that Rashi was saying in the beginning of the parsha, is not l'choiva, it's not obligatory. Ella lahachsher. It's only to make it kosher. It's kosher. You don't have to, but it is kosher. Why? Because it says kusus lama'or, only for kusus lama'or. So you would think that the first press is puzzle for menuchas. Comes the Torah to tell us, no, it's shemen kusus. Yeah, you could also use shemen kusus. You could also use the first press. It's also kosher. However, the only reason why it says kusus lama'or, says Rashi, in the end of the parsha, is because it wants to exclude menuchas, that there is no need to use kusus, there's no choiva to use kusus, only for the menorah. So it brings down now the Zera Shimshon, the questions from the Mefarshim. Don't say kusus by menuchas, and don't say ma'or by menorah. And then you don't have a problem. It says Shem Zayach Zoch Lama'or. Don't say kusus. And I'm Shem Zayach Zoch kusus, I'm sorry. And don't say Lama'or. And also, then you don't have to say kusus by menuchas. Shem and kusus. Because then you would know that by menorah you need kusus, and by menuchas you don't need kusus. Another question he asks is that from where does Rashi know to learn out from kusus lama'or that for the menorah that the second one is kosher for menuchas? Maybe by menuchas einochaname you don't need the first press. However, could be, says the Zera Shimshon, that the second press alone, the oil that comes out from the second press alone, is also not good. It's also going to be also to use. And what the Torah wanted for menuchas is that both of them should be together, the first press and the second press. That means after the first press, you took out the oil, there's still a tiny drop of oil left, so you mix it with the second oil that comes from the second press, and that you could use. Right? However, only from the second, maybe you can use. How does Rashi know? So says the Zera Shimshon, answers as follows. He says, on one hand, he says, it says by the menorah kusus lama'or. So if it wouldn't say kusus to menuchas, what would you think? You would think that kusus would be puzzle for menuchas, because it says only dafka, it has to be dafka lama'or for the menorah. Like Rashi says, right? That dafka for menorah, it says kusus. According to this surah, what would be kosher for menuchas? Because the first one is puzzle. So what would be kosher? Only the second one. So if that's the case, then you can't say anymore that the second one alone is going to be puzzle and it has to be mixed with the first one. So that's the first answer. That's how he answers the second question that he asks on how Rashi knows that the first one is also going to be kosher but not a chayiv. Right, and maybe the second one is kosher alone. How does he know that? Maybe it has to be mixed. So he says because of this. Again, because since we would, if it didn't say kus ma'or, and didn't say kusis by menuchas, so then we would think that the kusis is only going on the menorah and it's puzzle for menuchas. So therefore, that's why we know for sure that the second one is going to be mitter. Now, don't write, the Torah shouldn't write, not kusis by menuchas, or not ma'or by menorah. Says Zera Shimshon, no. If we would do that, right, then we would think that for sure, but for menuchas you need kusis. Why? Because since the menorah needs kusis, it needs the first press, and it's not for eating, and it still needs this shemen zayich zoch, menuchas that are going to be eaten, this korban menuchas that's going to be the korban mincha that's going to be eaten, for sure is going to need shemen zayich zoch. So therefore, says Zera Shimshon, that it wouldn't be a possibility not to say kusis by menuchas and not to say ma'or by menorah. I'll get into it.